Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Damia Rehana binti Abdul Aziz, and my matrix number is 2525012, and I'm from DKQ 2A. So today I'm going to explain about our assignment. Now, assignment 1, which is we choose scenario 2. The title is Weekly Student Budget. So my task as a leader is doing introduction, objective, and acknowledgement. But today I'm just going straightforward for introduction. Acknowledgement I just put from a report. So let's go start with the introductions. So number 1.01 is financial management is important for students with limited income and rising living costs. It is because student needs to manage their money properly because their income is limited while expenses keep increasing. Second, this report analyzes student weekly expenditure over 3 weeks. The report studies how much students spend each week. So third, expense include food, transportation, and internet usage. These are basic needs that students spend money on regularly. So next is matrix and linear equation are used to model and analyze the data. So mathematics is used to solve the problem. Linear equation and matrix are used to organize and calculate the expense. So next is matrix inversion method, or we call Cramer's rule, is applied to solve a system. This method helps us to find the exact amount for each category. Last but not least, the result helps students understand spending patterns and improve budgeting, which is the result show how mathematics can help students plan and control their spending better. Next to the objective, number 1 is to analyze a student weekly expenditure on food, transport, and internet usage. Second, to formulate simultaneous linear equation and represent them in matrix form. Third, to apply the matrix inversion method, or we call Cramer's rule, to solve the system. Second, next, to determine the actual weekly amount spent for each expense category. Last but not least, to interpret results for real-life financial management and improve personal budgeting. So that's all from me. So next to the slide with my friends.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Shahidatul Husna binti Zubair, and my matrix number is 2525003. And I will start with brainstorming. In this scenario, a student tracked their weekly spending on meals, transport, and studies materials in order to identify the expenses and create a balanced personal budget. This is important financial habit, especially for a student who usually have limited income and many commitments. First, by recording the daily expenses, the student become more aware of where their money going. For example, meal may seem cheap on the daily basis, but when calculated weekly, they might be a large portion of spending. Transportation costs such as food and public transport or ride-sharing service can also add up quickly. Study material, including printing, books, and online subscription are necessary expenses but still need to be managed wisely. By tracking this category consistently, the student can identify where they require better control. If meal seems expenses are too high, then the student might decide to cook more often or set daily budget. For study material, planning purchase in advance or sharing resources with classmates could help reduce spending. This track process helps the student differentiation between needs and wants. It also encourages discipline and better financial decision making. As a result, the student can avoid overspending, reduce financial stress, and also even set aside some saving for emergencies or future goals. For the problem statement, a student records weekly expenditures on food, transportation, and internet use for over 3 weeks. With increased living costs, the student aims to identify the usual amount spending on each expenses category in order to plan a more effective and sustainable personal budget. That's all. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Anisa Nurja binti Muhammad Azman, and my matrix number 2525027. So for this question, I decided to use Cramer's rule to solve the system of linear equation. Cramer's rule is a method that uses determinants to find the value of each variable in a system of equations. It only works when the determinant of the coefficient matrix is not equal to 0. First, I rewrite the system of equation in metric form. From there, I identify the coefficient metric and calculate its determinant, which we call a D. This determinant is very important because it tells us whether the system has a unique solution or not. After finding D, I construct a new matrix by replacing one column at a time with the constant values from the right hand side of the equations. When I replace the first column, I calculate the determinant and call it dx. When I replace the second column, I calculate dy. If there is a third variable, I also replace the third column and calculate dz. Next, I apply the formula from Cramer's rule to find each variable. I divide the corresponding determinant by d. So, x equal ds divided by d, y equal dy divided by d, and if applicable, z equal dz divided by d. Finally, after performing all the calculations carefully, I obtain the values, the variable of the variable. That's it. How I solve the system using Cramer's rule. Okay, that's all from me.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Warner Aishafika binti Abdullah. My matrix number is 2525034. In conclusion, this study focused on analyzing a student weekly spending on food, transport, and internet usage. By collecting and organizing data properly, we were able to see clearly how much was spent on each category. This helped us understand the student spending habit and identify where most money was going. We also apply matrix method to solve financial problem in a systematic and organized way. This showed that mathematics is not only theory, but it can also be used in real life situations, especially in managing personal finance. Using this method made the calculation clearer, faster, and more accurate. From this study, we learned that tracking expenses is very important. When students are aware of their spending pattern, they can plan their budget more effectively and avoid unnecessary expenses. In the long term, this can help them develop better financial discipline and responsibility. Overall, this project highlights the importance of budgeting and show how mathematical methods can support smarter financial and smarter financial decision in life. Thank you.